I'm going to hit record now. I'm going to click on Disney Classic Games now, and I'll just stick to my usual account now.
Thank God he didn't hit me this time. My cheeks are sore.
Yeah, James, you gotta stop abusing Toad like that.
But he asks for it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, kind of came as a surprise, but with the help of Nighthawk Interactive, these classic games from the Genesis, from the 16-bit era in general, have been brought to the modern consoles. Welcome to Disney Classic Games, Aladdin, and The Lion King.
I love how such a perfect, cold open that is, because we're not going to probably keep the part where he's selecting the account, and it'll just cut to him saying, don't abuse Toad.
Yeah.
So James, important question I'm sure everybody's wondering. Is this the Super Nintendo version of both games, or is it
Genesis?
The Genesis? Okay.
Well, that's the funny thing about this collection, because it actually has multiple versions of the same game. Like, you got the regular Sega Genesis version of Aladdin. You got a Final Cut version, which mostly fixes on all the problems of the original. You have the demo version that was based on an earlier build of the game, complete with all the stuff that didn't make it to make the Final Cut, and the Japanese version for whatever reason. And if I press this button right here, we also have the handheld versions of the game.
Oh, wow. Well, they went all out.
Oh yeah, they had to make up for the fact that there's only really 2 games on the service, so they just went and said, screw it, we'll get most if not every version of the game available, save for a few exceptions because they were made by different companies.
Yeah,
why don't we start off with the Final Cut of Aladdin?
I just have to.
Yeah.
I was about to say, really, they included the handheld versions over the Super Nintendo versions.
Well, the Super
really
Nintendo version was made by Capcom.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a completely different game compared to what we see here. So anyway, welcome to Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. You might remember, a long time ago, we actually did a look at covering a few versions of this game, and I do believe the Genesis version was one of them.
Yeah, it was the Genesis and the Super Nintendo version. I remember because I was dog sick during that time.
Aww.
Not entirely dissimilar to how I am right now. I'm feeling better though, but still.
What a funny coinkydink. Anyway, let's relive the story of Aladdin, where in Agrabah, a faraway land of wind and sand, a young street rat named Aladdin must steal to survive. Meanwhile, Jafar, the Sultan's advisor, plots to take over the kingdom by stealing magic lamp from the perilous Cave of Wonders. Our story begins on a dark night.
A dark man waits with a dark purpose.
What a dark purpose.
Can you tell them? Can we tell them
I fumbled my words on purpose.
Can we? Jafar. Okay, can we talk? Can we talk about? I mean, okay, but that just little intro we just did, notwithstanding, is it easy to tell that both of these games? Thank you, Don. That both of these games were my favorite Disney movies growing up.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show that this collection is for you, my friend.
I'll have to give that a look-see. Okay, so we're seeing the whole intro.
Basically,
this skips some of the game.
Yeah, and I'm totally convinced that this collection was mostly made available because, well, this is also to align with the live-action versions of both movies having been released, in the exact same year. Jesus Christ.
That is true.
Yeah,
And remember, if you like either of them, you're an idiot.
The Aladdin one, the Aladdin one I keep hearing did things enough to make it stand out as its own thing.
Yeah.
It's the Lion King one that was note for note inferior in some ways. The realistic CG is cool, but everything else just, from what I've heard, everything else is just an inferior version of what you remembered. And whoa.
Yeah, it really is.
The Final Cut added it.
Huh.
Yep. Again, the Final Cut made a whole bunch of changes to the system. Hitboxes are a little smoother. I think some areas have opened up completely, and the camera system was reworked to be less,
jank?
laggy.
Less finicky.
Jank.
Also, why did you kill that sword swallower back there? He was doing nothing.
He was innocent in all this.
He's just an innocent bystander.
He has a weapon,
but you've seen how dangerous those knives are. They can poke a poor peddler's eye out.
Yes, and if I recall, it was Abu that almost slit his throat from the inside by grabbing it way too quickly.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was like,
He's got a sword!
You idiots.
We
all got swords.
But that being said, so okay, so enough about the movie. Okay, the movies are great, but for the sake of this, and James is playing this live, by the way, so I'm gonna try and help field conversation while he's doing that. While for the context of the games, who here played these ones or had any iteration of them?
Oh, I've
haven't.
definitely played the Genesis version way back when I've told the story before about how I used to visit my grandparents down in Bakersfield. They used to take me to the Salvation Army in the game center down there. They had a Genesis and a whole bunch of games on it, and yes, Aladdin was one of them.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
I played
Cool.
both. I grew up playing the Genesis version of both this and the other game of this package, and I remember enjoying them quite a bit. Like particularly the Lion King one. I think that was the one that we actually owned, whereas the other one was actually one that my cousin owned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was absolutely a I was
You see what I mean? These guys are dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah,
I-
they're just
fair
they're
enough.
reckless and
But
dangerous.
he is not a sword swallower. He's just a sword juggler, which is dangerous.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't. Also,
No,
that health bar
the
is
sword swallower was wearing like reddish and had black hair.
okay. Also, the whole
You know what, though? Funny you mentioned that, Seely. Why don't we show off the beta build of this game?
oh
Okay.
okay. Well, may as well. Again, this live look at's going to cover both games, so we can just hop in around as we please. So, but what was I going to say? Yeah, real quick. As far as my history with the game is concerned, I was definitely a Nintendo family kind of thing. So I never owned a Genesis, so I played the Super Nintendo versions of both of these games. Which it seems like the Lion King one was not quite as different as the Aladdin one was from its counterpart. Okay, cool. This one had actual background like sprites throughout all this. I'm surprised they got rid of this.
Yeah.
Might have been some sort of time constraint or something along the lines. Because again,
Oh,
this is
yeah,
like a
that-
beta build of the game.
Yeah, that scene was
Yeah.
much shorter that time.
Oh,
Not to mention you didn't have Iago. Oh,
Also,
look at
I
that
know it's
life
kind of hard
icon.
for you. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to hear, but they're actually playing. They're actually playing a friend like me in this demo, as opposed to Prince Ali.
Yeah. Either way, it's kind of incorrect, but still.
And yeah, you can definitely
Yeah,
tell like
it's
this
a
is a
bit-
demo because a lot of stuff is sort of it looks unfinished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot
The
of the
sword counter.
assets are a lack of polish.
Also,
But
maybe
that
it's just
is-
me, but it feels like the flashes are a lot more glaring in this one.
Well, yeah, and that I believe that sprite of the genie right here I think was a prototype checkpoint.
Ah.
oh.
Also, those arms throwing pottery out the windows are also unfinished. They are completely white. They're not colored in.
Yeah, which really goes to show how the process went.
Whoop.
Oh,
no.
whoops.
Doop. Is that blood on his cheek?
You know what? I'm not sure.
I missed
Like-
it.
Yeah, like wait till he dies again and then take a close look at his face.
You know what? I have a reset button right here, or excuse me, a rewind button right
Oh.
here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see, look.
Rewind.
Oh,
I think that's supposed to be his
right.
tongue. I think that's supposed to be his tongue.
Oh,
No.
it was on his
It
cheek.
doesn't
That
look
was
like
on
a
his
tongue to
cheek.
me.
So while one thing we should talk about, I guess, is what are some of these like? Oh, geez, this guy's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my
what- yeah,
god.
Madman.
He's
what,
good at his job.
swinging that
Oh,
sword.
wow.
Oh,
Oh
jeez,
no.
back we go again. So what are
Where are
some
you
of
going
the
home?
what are some of the also another real quick thing I'm noticing with the demo is whenever those people drop the pots out, you can still see like the full frame of them. They still need to color in the animation frames.
yeah, I
Oh
mentioned
yeah, by the
that.
way, Seely, remember
Oh,
that
look.
sword swallower? There he
That's
is.
the guy I was
Oh.
talking about.
Okay.
Oh.
He's a scrapped enemy for the game.
Huh.
Huh. And it's straight.
Again, there's a
straight
lot
from
of
the movie.
interesting little details to be found with this demo, and I mean, I think it's the first time I've ever seen a classic collection actually give us a older version of a game and how much was lost.
Yeah.
So what are some of the features like real quick going back to what, like maybe the Japanese or the handheld version? What does the watch feature mean?
Basically, the watch feature, you could basically let the game play itself, and at any point in the game, you could just tell the game that you want to start from this point, and you can pretty much play accordingly.
Uh-huh.
And I guess it's only fair that I'll show off the handheld version of Aladdin before we move on to the other game of the two.
Okay.
Wow. Even what handheld version was this? The
This is
Game
Game
Boy?
Boy.
Yeah, wow. Even the animations on this are super smooth.
They tried what they could, even if it was making the poor Game Boy cry.
Yeah.
I can't handle this. I can't handle such awesomeness.
So,
This awesome game.
so Gui, Sealy. Oh yeah, wow, they even got most of the sprites down. So Gui, Sealy, no text. It's just.
Well, he skipped the text.
Yeah, I
Okay.
skipped them all.
It's like a silent film.
I thought they were just shouting endlessly. Anyway, so Sealy, Gui, did you guys have any experiences with Disney games like
Oh,
this?
wrong button.
Nope.
The only one I've had experience with was The Lion King for the Genesis.
Okay.
I never
personally-
owned. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, I personally didn't play it. I watched a
Wait,
friend of mine.
wait a minute. Wait a second.
Wait,
What?
what?
This camel's spitting out knives!
Soup.
Whoa!
That's
Oh.
a hardcore camel.
What did
Ouch.
that camel eat?
Knives, obviously.
And what was it thinking?
It wondered what death tasted like.
I think it took its iron diet a little too seriously.
Ah,
But yeah, just
So
seeing
it-
this. Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway, I was gonna say I played it at a friend's house. I watched him play Lion King. His house is actually a few houses down from mine, and it's further. Anyway, yeah, I watched him play the game. I think I tried playing it once, and I watched him play
Okay,
that.
this is starting to bore me too. Let's move
Yeah.
on. Let's
Okay.
move on to the Lion King.
okay,
I watched
okay. Show off the watch feature in Lion King.
I
Oh,
watched
of
him play
course.
that.
Well, only show it off for that level.
Come to think
Okay.
of it, did they ever? Oh, okay. So
Never mind.
weirdly enough,
You're
with
fine.
Lion King,
Just-
the watch feature isn't in the Sega Genesis version, which is my preferred version. It's only
Which is
in
weird.
the console in version or the Super Nintendo version. So I guess we'll start there.
Actually,
Okay,
wait
so
a
this one I
minute.
kept.
Why didn't they put the watch version in the Genesis version?
I'm not sure. Like maybe they didn't have the time to put it up yet. Anyway, here's the Lion King for the Super Nintendo in action.
And then I'm so sorry, Sealy. Will you please continue?
I watched him play the Lion King for Sega Genesis, as well as it was one of the Sonic games, but I can't remember which one it was. I know it had Sonic and Tails.
Then it was probably Sonic 2.
Okay.
That was probably the one, yeah.
Then yeah, that's pretty much the only experience I had with Lion King on Genesis. But
Okay.
I had no exposure to Aladdin whatsoever.
All right,
Oh,
that's
okay.
fair.
Well, I mean the movie, yes, but not the game.
Yeah.
What about you,
This-
Ellie? What's your experience with either of these games?
None whatsoever. I never owned a Genesis.
What about Super
This-
Nintendo?
Nope. Never owned those. My first console was the N64. So that it wasn't until that year that I was a gamer.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Is it
This-
music different, or is that just me?
A little
Meow.
bit. Oh,
I was gonna say, there's something different here. What's going on?
Oh.
Is it just because it's the watch feature?
What do you mean?
Oh no, the watch feature's not going on. Are you talking about like the resolution, maybe, or?
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to not being turned on. It just
Okay.
I don't remember that being in the original.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's
like
funny.
Spotify.
That's the
Yeah.
weird thing. For the Super Nintendo version, the sound effect, like the sound design in general, just feels a little. I don't know. There was
It's
something
different than I remember.
Well, yeah, because it's the Super Nintendo version. Like, I'm not gonna mince words. I think the Genesis version had superior sound design, even if it
Same.
was a bit screechier.
I agree.
Like, for example, I feel like that opening bit with Timon going, "It starts." Maybe, unless the audio is just turned really down, I don't think that clips in the Super Nintendo version.
It was
It
in the
is.
Super.
It
It was in the
is.
Super Nintendo. It was in the
geez.
Super Nintendo version. It was just heavily compressed.
Not to
Okay.
mention,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, the volume's a little low on our end, so it's kind of harder for you guys to hear.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Something
I'm not
else.
sure. I'm not sure this. Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say something else is that when it comes to Disney games, there were very few that I actually played when they were out. A lot of them I just don't care for because I prefer to watch the movies as opposed to play them.
No.
This I don't believe was in the Super
Is
Nintendo
it-
version.
Oh,
No,
okay,
it
I
is.
was about to say.
Oh,
it
we're
is?
playing that right now. I forgot we're playing
Yeah.
that right now.
yeah, this
Wow.
is Super Nintendo. What do you? We've been watching the Super Nintendo
I'm
version
losing
for
my
a long
mind.
time.
I'm losing my mind.
Timon, I'm losing it. Oops.
But oh, you know what it is? I think it's because I never went. I think it's because I never went for the bonus stage stuff when playing. Because I
That's
was still a
nice.
kid.
Oh,
I remember
real
this
quick,
game used to freak me out. Was
on this Devil Damn level.
yeah.
Oh, I hate this.
Can't wait to
song.
be king.
So,
Yeah.
so
I
James,
like the
since you're
song,
not,
I just hate this level.
So James, since we're not doing a dang thing right now, or you're not doing a dang thing because we're watching, how does the watch feature work out?
I mean, honestly, are you watching it right now? Because it's doing its job.
But then, like, what happens if we want to leave the watch feature?
Like, what button do you have to push to actually play the game? Is what he means.
Well, just as soon as the monkeys are done playing with Simba, I'll show you.
Congratulations, everybody! You are watching. What the?
Now we can start playing. And there you go.
It puts you right into the action wherever you left off.
Yep, just like that.
It's some really cool ROM like stuff at work here, which I find very impressive for something like this. I've never seen.
The only downside though is that let's try that again.
That's the jump I hate the most because, for one thing, it's like very precise on on how you double jump through this, and second off, the game didn't really do a good enough job telling me that you can double jump.
Right.
I want to say when you messed up there, my computer screen went to screensaver, so I was like, oh no, what's happening?
You're fine. But yeah,
even the computer thinks this level's BS. Like, look at that. He was even when you're over the tail, the hitbox doesn't activate with it.
You have to like land right on the tail. Okay, so while we're doing this, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. You are watching a fundamentally like designed level that is designed to be hard.
It's like intentionally bad game because they didn't want people to spoil the movie for them.
Well, so actually hype. It's less about that and more like, well, they didn't want this game to just be a rental only.
Oh, because it was so. Oh, you're right. Because it was otherwise it'd be so.
They made it artificially hard so that kids wouldn't be able to finish it before they brought it back to the Blockbuster or whatever they rented it from.
It's still stupid.
I mean, I could see that being kind of maliciously like designed. It's,
okay, he didn't even do anything that time.
That sprite right there. Oh god, that always still. Okay, yeah, real talk. That sprite always weirded me out with how he looks at the camera, like.
And it weirded James out too because that was the point where he said no thanks.
He looks at the camera like am I good? And then falls flat down.
I know. I kind of hate it.
Then I always hated how Rafiki looked in the when you would hit continue.
Oh yeah, the king has returned.
Yeah.
But the way he smiled anyway. So handheld versions now before we stop, I guess.
I remember those deaths were traumatizing to me as a kid.
Dark technologies.
What's up, James?
Well, just as soon as I start the game, feast your eyes on this.
Oh.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
Oh my God! What the?
No, James, can we rewind? Can we rewind that? I gotta see that again.
Oh no,
no, James. Okay, no, James. Okay, go back, capture it, and then real quick, let's go to the gallery. Can we go to the gallery? No, I gotta see.
Oh my God! That's so bad.
Technology has truly come a long way.
Congrats! This is the first ever look at where we leave the thing. Look at.
Oh my God!
There are too many things wrong with this.
What happened?
This alone is a valid enough reason to do a look at this whole collection.
Who the fuck drew that? Please tell me you're gonna put that as the thumbnail.
I'll think about it. Think about it.
This is Simba. I'll have him with a white wine.
He looks like.
Did you say I'll have him with a white wine?
He
Oh
looks
my
like
God, my head.
If not that, he looks like he's just like. If not that, he definitely looks like the kind of like. Just smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave.
Like,
We did nothing.
Simba, we did a lot of. We don't do crack cocaine. Just
Never
not even
once.
once.
Don't you think we should tell him that the look gets over?
Rafiki did not have the heart to tell Mufasa that he accidentally porked a chipmunk in that one night.
Did you say pork a chipmunk?
I guess so, given like look at those cheeks.
How else would that explain his cheeks?
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on this look at of Disney classics Aladdin and the Lion King for about, I think, $30.
Yeah,
that's not
it's
too bad.
$30. But I mean, in all fairness, like you get like multiple versions of both games, and not to mention you get a whole lot of behind the scenes stuff, like concept art for the games, the soundtracks,
nice.
and also concept art and interviews related stuff for the actual movies.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
it-
cool.
It's
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
There's definitely a lot. There's definitely a lot of content to warrant it. On top of the games themselves, this devil damn picture notwithstanding, the games themselves are actually a lot of fun. I do want to end on one thing real quick because you said this was made by Digital Eclipse, and they're the same people that have been doing a lot of those Mega Man collections the past couple of years.
Yes.
So I just want to add, this was really good. The Mega Man stuff's really good. Just want to say, a Digital Eclipse, if you're... Don't mind the dogs. If you're open for experimentation, maybe you could look into 3D emulation, like, say, the Legends trilogy.
I would not be against that. I retweeted that tweet that was going around asking for a Legends collection.
Rafiki's scaring the dogs, apparently.
Get him away!
It's making me cry.
They've come to welcome their
Oh my
new
God.
lion cub prince.
I just love, like, okay, the last joke I could come off the top of my head is Rafiki has that look in his face where Mufasa just asks him, I'm going to have a long life with this son of mine, won't I? And Rafiki's like, oh yeah! Yeah, totally.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah.
This killed me.
Till next time, everybody.
I'm dead. I'm dead. Hold my funeral. Hold my funeral.